Hello, I'm John Fain. I used to do a daily radio program on the ABC, and Jeffrey Conahan, who's a candidate for Port Phillip Council, was a regular guest when he worked at Melbourne Airport. As part of his candidacy, he has asked me to interview him as if he was on the radio so you can learn about his policies. I'm not doing this in any way to endorse his campaign, just to do a favour for an old friend. Now, Jeffrey, sadly, St Kilda and other parts indeed of the city of Port Phillip have a long-standing reputation for not being particularly safe and having a law and order issue. What do you think the council could or should be doing about that?
John, I think the first thing is listen to the locals and admit that there's a problem. We keep on being told that issues of public safety are exaggerated, but I've lived here since 1987. And I can tell you, it's worse than it was 5 years ago, and it's worse than it was when I moved here. We've got lots of evidence of it. I talked to my neighbours, attempted home invasions, three attempted carjackings in our street. We've had neighbours bashed, walking to the shops. So this problem is real. I personally have had a man pull a set of 15-centimetre scissors on me in our driveway when I went out to assist a neighbour who yelled out for help. So these are real. My partner was bashed on the number 16 tram out the front of Luna Park at 10:30 in the morning by 5 men because they didn't like the look of him. So I will not pay any attention to the apologists who say there's nothing that's a problem. We have already in the city of Port Phillip an exclusion provision for a particular precinct that was created to move on curb crawlers who are harassing street sex workers and other women in the street. Curb crawlers is the term used for a car containing a man or a group of men that crawl along the curb. Mm-hmm. This was a real problem. We have an exclusion provision already in place, and it sits on top of any other penalty that the police issue. They can exclude you from a neighbourhood for anywhere up to 12 months. So if you come to St Kilda and you cause trouble, I'd like to see the police extend the exclusion provisions, and this would be under a local law that the council has the controls of, to include antisocial behaviour and troublemaking in general. And the police tell me the district inspector has told a community group that about 75% of offences and offenders and antisocial behaviour in general they deal with in the Fitzroy Street precinct is from people who live outside of the postcode. So
sure, it's a magnet. It attracts people.
Yep, it is a magnet, and often that magnet is drug dealing. So, and that which is quite rife in the area. So, I think we need to look at a series of what I call interrupters. How do we interrupt bad behaviour? Well, the first step is admitting that there's a problem, and the council has constantly told the community that in its assessment there is not a safety problem. Well, the residents will tell them otherwise.
Thank you for answering my questions, and we'll see what the voters decide to do. Jeffrey Conahan, good luck.
Thank you, John.